Alright, welcome back to the show. And today and tomorrow I'm going to be preparing to fix some things that got ruined, mainly trim and roof steel. So I hired out the blow-in insulation in the attic of the garage, and when they were moving their truck, they backed it into the corner of the garage here and bent the corner trim. So that's all got to replace. The good thing is they've already squared up with me. They paid for the material and my time to fix it. And then when the gutter guys were here, they bent a piece of trim here on the garage, and then somehow they managed to kink one of the ribs on the roof steel of the house. So that's a 30-foot piece that I have to replace, which is not going to be any fun, especially without a lift. So unfortunately, hired a couple things out and some damage happened, which that's just part of life. That happens. It's just really frustrating when you do it to save some time, and then now I got to spend a couple days fixing stuff. So alright, so I got those pieces off. So if you have to replace a piece of trim, the thing that stinks about it is you already have holes in there, so you don't want to just throw another piece up there and just screw it wherever. You want to try to match up the holes so you don't end up with extra holes in there. At least that's how I feel about it. So whenever I have to replace a piece of trim, I'll take the new trim, lay it down, and I'll take the pieces and just lay them over it. That way I can mark the location of the holes and I can trace the cuts that I need to make. That way I know it'll end up being exact. So that's the short bottom piece. Got to make sure I have a nice factory end on the bottom. This part will be tucked under, so I'll make a cut here, and then the same thing there. That's going to be the end that has to be look factory, and then I'll make my cuts up here, and then the very top piece will overlap this. So by doing this, I can mark all the holes and go right back in the same holes that I have there. So we're going to go ahead and get this traced out, holes marked, and then we'll get it all put back together. Alright guys, it's Tuesday. Got that corner all done yesterday and the rake edge of that roof trim, so now I'm going to work on the roof today. It's light and variable winds. So I just unwrapped my metal, which is something you always want to do if you're going to be replacing before you take it off your roof to make sure it's going to be in good shape. So I've done that. Steel looks good. So now I'm going to go up on the roof, whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to mark in 2 spots. I'm going to break that piece up into 3 sections so I can cut it up there and get it down. I'll just never be able to get it down by myself. But if I cut it into 10-foot sections, I could be able to get it down pretty easily. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. Alright, well, I've tied this rope off. I don't have an actual, roofing safety line with a harness. So I'm just using this rope and I'm wrapping it around me just to keep me from sliding if I fall. Obviously, it'd be ideal to have the real deal, but I haven't gotten that yet, so I'm improvising. So I'm going to cut this piece into 2 more sections, and then I can get them both down pretty easy, and then hopefully I can get this one big piece back up safely. Alright guys, so one thing I do is I'll leave a screw at the bottom so when I get this thing cut across it just doesn't slide out. So I'm going to take that last screw off and attempt to slowly slide it down. Alright guys, so here is the contraption I made for the steel. Basically it's just contains the steel in there. It's got supports that go out far enough that the steel won't bend. Because when you get, this is almost a 30-foot sheet, you can't just tip it up and slide over, you'll bend and break it. So what I came up with is I took 2 pallets and I got them fastened together with some 2x4s on each side, and then I also have some 2x4s that are screwed to them flat on the top and they extend out. So I think the way I got this, the steel extends out 6 feet past the end of those 2x4s on each end. And then I got these 2 straps, got my chains that I'll hook to my boom, my backhoe, which I got that all hooked up now, so we'll bring it over and we'll get it all hooked up, get our piece of steel slid on there, and then once I'm ready, we'll hoist it up there. So this is definitely the worst part. I mean, the edge of that roof is 20 feet and then the peak is 30. So, but here's the boom that I made. Just made it out of a 6-inch I-beam. Got chains on it to help lift out here that are attached to the top of my bucket. And then I made this to fit in my skid steer bucket mainly, but then I also built this bracket that I bolt to the frame so it can also be put in the backhoe bucket because I can reach higher, and obviously the backhoe weighs a lot more, so it can handle a lot more weight, so, and leverage. But pretty simple. I got a chain that comes over the top, it wraps around, comes up, and then I got a binder on each side here to keep that tight, and that holds this down. And then I got this C channel here bolted to each member of the whole boom, and then I got it bolted. I drilled holes through the side of the bucket and put bolts through, and that'll also keep it from lifting. It'll hold it in there. So this is what I used to put up all the trusses and everything in the entire house to lift my walls, and it worked pretty good. Obviously, there's some stuff out there that you can buy that's meant for this, but I had all this steel laying around, and cost me, I don't know, probably a couple $100 by the time I bought bolts and I bought my chains. And I mean, I already had these chains, but I'm talking about the chains that I lifted it with. So a lot cheaper than spending $6 on a really nice boom lift. So we're gonna go ahead and get this over by my contraption there, and we'll get it all hooked up. Alright, so I got it all hooked up. Basically, I cut holes at this at different increments, so I'd have different lifting points, plus I could have some extra lift chains on this boom. But got a chain around here with a hook that locks, so this can't come out. And then this is these are truss hooks. I got them for my strap. So now I'm going to lift this up, get it lined up at the end of my steel, and I'll drag my piece of steel on there, and we should be about ready to go. Alright guys, well this piece of steel is officially replaced. I'm thankful it's done, although I'm not very happy that I had to do this. I would have much rather have had the gutters put up without any damage, but that's just the way it goes when you build, whether you're self-building or you're paying people to do stuff. This kind of stuff is bound to happen, and you just got to deal with it. But I'm thankful it's done. I'm thankful I'm still safe. This is just a dangerous roof. It's 30 feet at the peak, 20 at the sides, and then you got it's a 512 pitch, and you add a little dust, and it's really slippery. So I'm glad it's done. I just got to climb down, get my ladders down. But I appreciate you guys watching. I wanted to share these troubles I've had with you, just so you can know what to expect, or you don't think that everything goes perfect for everybody else, because that's far from the truth. I've had my fair share of challenges, and this is one of them for sure. I would have much rather have it not gotten damaged and had to do this, even though they're going to pay for material and my time. I would much rather not have to climb up here ever again, but I know I will to at least put my chimney through. So appreciate you guys watching, and we will catch you on the next video.